So this week on Literacy with Lydia, we are continuing on with the Unplanter, Chapter 4. The very next morning, the woman went back to her garden. As she always did, she pulled up the weeds, picked out the rocks, and broke up the ground. Then she thought about where to plant the one seed. Should she plant it on the edge? Near a corner? In the middle? In the middle, she decided, and dug a small hole. Pulling the seed packet out of her sweater, she took a deep breath and crouched to the ground. She shook the little seed out into the hole. It was so small and dark she could barely see it. Slowly, she covered it with dirt before standing and brushing off her knees. The next day, the woman went to her garden again. As she had done with the other seeds, she gave them food and water, working it into the soil with her trowel around where she knew the seed was planted. That night, when the air became colder, she covered the garden with blankets. And day after day, she watched for something to show her seed was growing. A week went by, and then a month, and still she could see nothing above the dirt. She grew restless and began running her hands through the dirt near where the seed was planted. Remembering the man's words when he had given her the seed, "It will grow if it stays planted," she stood up, brushed off her knees, and went inside. Months went by, and still the woman cared for the garden, waiting. One day, after the dead autumn leaves had fallen and blown away, as the woman spread mulch over the soil for the winter months, she saw a small green shoot where she had planted the seed so long ago. "Well, that will never last the winter," she said, hands on her hips. She thought about digging it up, but again she remembered, "It will grow if it stays planted." "I don't see how," she muttered, but she spread mulch around the shoot and left it where it was.